Have you all seen the price of some of these enchanted tails and confetti foils in Wilds of Eldraine? I'm recording this the week of release, so it came out last Friday, and we're like Tuesday at the moment. And currently, a Vistic study in confetti foil anime version is $330, whilst a confetti foil anime version of Smothering Tithe is $298.
Nani?
These prices are mad, so I want to talk a little bit to that. I've also been chatting to people about the anime skins and how they feel within Wilds of Eldraine, and how at odds it feels with Wilds of Eldraine, so I want to unpack that too. And also talk a little bit about how I think that these Enchanted Tales, the anime styles, and the confettis, they all come together to create a situation that I really quite like. As always, this video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, so if you're looking to pick up single or sealed products like Wilds of Eldraine, you can use the link in the description below and the code KENOBI at checkout to get 5% off your order. And this Thursday at 7 PM BST, I am live on whatnot.com on the app too. I'll be giving away collector boosters, I'll have other bits for sale and for giveaway too. There'll be singles, sealed product, all that sort of stuff. If you use the link in the description below, you get £10 off your first purchase. So if you're a first time buyer and you buy a £10 single card from me, you will only have to pay the shipping. It's free real estate. My referral link is in the description below. If we look at the current prices of some of the cards that are in the enchanted slot of Eldraine or Wilds of Eldraine, we see some quite interesting phenomena. We have the Confetti foil Smothering Tithe as one of the highest examples at $298.83 TCG average currently, and then second to that we have Wilds of Eldraine Anime Smothering Tithe without the confetti foiling for $74, and then we have a $15 Wilds of Eldraine Enchanting Tale non-anime Smothering Tithe. Meanwhile, the cheapest Commander Master Smothering Tithe is also around $17. It's really funny to see Wilds of Eldraine take the steam, the wind out of the sails of Commander Master singles too. And for those of you wondering what this confetti foiling looks like, here are some examples of it. Now, whilst I like the confetti foiling we see on display here, it feels like a significant step down from the texture foiling we saw on chase cards in Double Masters 2, for example, which I was lucky enough to open one of the Ven and 6s of because I'm pretty fucking good at this game. And whilst I like the confetti foiling, I also don't think it would make me want to spend $300 more on a card than I have to. My favourite thing about the display on the stream that they did for this, that I got this from, is that the cards are slightly bent and slightly warped if you look to the top of them, which I think is very funny. One of the downsides to confetti foils that I don't like is that they're only foilable in fucking, I hate myself, in the collector boosters. If you pay attention to the how to collect a set articles that wizards have to make because everything's so confusing, the confetti foils are only available in some collector boosters, not guaranteed, just in some. You won't find them in set boosters or draft boosters. I've already talked at length about how I don't believe Project Booster Fun has really improved the fun of opening packs. If anything, it's made draft packs boring. It's made set boosters the go-to for just cracking stuff if you want to crack stuff, but of course they're not necessarily the prizes you get from playing events. And then collector boosters exist as an expensive lottery ticket where you will sometimes open the cards that you want, the super duper fooper booper ones, but you have to pay a premium price to get there, to get into the lottery essentially. So not every pack is made equal, and it's funny to have packs for rich people and packs for poor people. I think the current Booster Fun method does need some work. But that said, there are now $17 Smothering Tithes knocking about, and to be honest, we're only several days into Wilds of Eldraine being in the public eye and public hands, so as more packs get opened, I'm hoping those prices will continue to fall over the next week or two. Hopefully. So there being a super duper chase variant and people just cracking packs like mad people is good for the average consumer who wants to just buy cards to play with. Again though, the foils of the old cards have gotten cheaper. A foil of the original printing of Smothering Tithe is only $26 at present time, having come down quite a bit. I do believe that blingy fancy shit like alternate treatments and foils and stuff like that probably needs to be where some of the collector's value is held. Whilst I absolutely applaud the idea of making these cards cheaper and affordable to pick up for the average player, I think that's a positive for the accessibility of the game. I do think the crashing prices of old singles and the fact that nothing on the reserve list can hold any value anywhere is a bad thing. I'm not saying that playable cards need to be really expensive. I am not saying that. I'm saying the playable cards should be cheap, but their foils and their alternate arts should be collectible in a sense that you aren't going to get completely rinsed for holding stock of them. Don't forget that Magic the Gathering is underpinned and has been successful for 30 years because the secondary market featuring shops, stores, and people, not just people investing, like investors, I'm talking people who buy and sell singles. That has been a backbone of being able to get hold of the cards and also be able to hold some value in your collection. I don't think that one is a bad thing. Holding value in your collection is not completely at odds with the idea of having affordable cards that you can buy to enter the game to play. We need I'm laboring the point here, aren't I? But we need the expensive stuff to be the alternate treatments in the foils. But even now, with all the reprints of Smothering Tithe, the card is crashing down in price. I say keep going. I say keep printing the non-foil Smothering Tithe with the original art in more sets over the next year. But I'd say hold fire or hold back on reprinting any of these alternate arts, or even foils at this point. I don't know. I just think there needs to be collectability somewhere. But ultimately, it is driving the price down, so I am pro confetti foils. I'm pro nonsense chase cards like the $330 card. It does make, when you open one of the primo rares or mythics, a little bit disappointed that you haven't opened the most primo or rare version, though it makes a bigger gap in hitting the jackpot in a sense, and I'm okay with that, because the cards are affordable. I think if that jackpot was available in the normal packs, so you could just randomly luck into it, I think that would undo the pain or tension I feel in that divide. The fact that I can never hit the jackpot unless I buy into the primo ticket, I think is a shame. I also wanted to talk about the fact that they're so fucking anime. It makes me laugh. The doubling season is dope. I won't lie, I think anime questing Goose Hydra is really fun. And most of them do have some sort of connection to what the card is meant to do. Most of them have that connection held in a small part of the frame, whilst two anime characters take up center stage, of course. And then we have Smothering Tithe, which is absolutely egregious with the fact that it doesn't make any fucking sense. Smothering Tithe anime edition from the Wilds of Eldraine Enchanted Tales slot. Yes, that's a lot to cram in there to make sure you know what I mean. In the future, I'm just going to say the anime version of Smothering Tithe, I guess. That card's going to go down in history as being the dumbest art to card connection I've ever seen. Like, I still don't know. It's a party. The other character is being smothered by the confidence of the character in the background? Are they being smothered by presence? Is the character in the background a vampire? Are there even vampires on Eldraine? What the fuck is going on with this card? And I think we're going to see a hell of a lot more anime as we go forward. So the Wilds of Eldraine set has had an anime trailer plus anime styling in the set, and several people have commented on my Instagram and similar, saying I don't really understand why. Because, quite frankly, the set never had any ties to anime before, right? It was Disney to an extent, or to a lesser extent, and European folklore, Arthurian legend, that kind of thing. I think the animification serves two purposes here in Eldraine, two purposes they probably won't openly talk about. The first is to differentiate the set and pull away from that comparison to Disney, because even with the Enchanted Tales stuff, this could easily be from an opening scene to a Disney movie, or in the backdrop of Snow White talking to the prince. The composition, the angles, the way the art is compiled has a significant storybook feel to it that can make it have parallels to Disney. That's unavoidable when you're working in these spaces where there's a lot of things that line up, and it's not necessarily a bad thing either. I've seen this on Dice to Remove before, that Disney is the cultural touchstone with which a lot of people will engage with old grim fairy tales and Arthurian legend style stuff that Eldraine also uses and utilizes. But if they can make this look more like this, then it's harder. Well, actually, no, okay, this one, the doubling season actually looks more Disney than you'd expect. But Anime Space Wizard looks way different to what you'd expect to find in Disney. And I also want to talk about Omniscience real quick. It is one of the more generic looking arts, but it's also my favorite of the anime ones, because it's just stellar. The color, the composition, I love it. It is Anime Wizard being generically anime and wizard, but on the upside, it doesn't quite look like the egregious shit we see in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet, but it's like a dragon with 15 dicks. But besides disassociating from Disney a little bit to give yourselves a fighting chance at the court of law if that ever were to happen, or at least even in the court of public opinion, the main reason is to appeal to the Asian market. Magic has always tried to court China, Japan, and similar in order to get its card game played more. We've seen it in the past with entire sets devoted to the folklore and history of those regions. And I know I'm speaking with relatively broad strokes here, so I don't want people to think that I'm saying that Japan and China are exactly the same, but they are two markets that Wizards of the Coast have struggled to engage with or get on board as much as they have with America and Europe. So for them to try and adopt some of those sensibilities to appeal to those markets is a no-brainer in many ways. It just feels a bit jarring when we see it happen. And there are more and more Japanese card games coming out that are sticking around. Your One Pieces, your My Hero Macadamia, or whatever the fuck it's called. Bandai have released like 17 different games since I started recording this video. 14 minutes ago, they started on their rampage, just releasing and releasing and releasing, and I really hope they keep up supporting some of those good ones. I actually think Digimon and Battlesport Saga are really good systems, for example. So Wizards want to make Magic more popular in that region, so the way to do that is to inject some of the stylings that appeals to that market. And thus we have anime just appearing, not just in Kamigawa or places that it makes thematic sense, but you have anime appearing like perhaps every other set, every 3 sets. We're going to see it a lot more often now. It also introduces the waifu tax, where sweet anime girl or sexy anime girl, or I guess we've not got any sexies this time around, I guess there's some thick thighs on Omniscience. But these cards will demand a higher price tag similar to what we see with the waifus in Pokemon. It is no surprise to me that Smothering Dive ended up being the one card in the set that randomly has a waifu on it that has absolutely no relation to the mechanical identity of the card. That's how you make a chase card, kids. Make it absolutely fucking busted, nuts busted in Commander, and stick a waifu on it. That might be a recipe they come back to in a couple of sets' time. Either way, the prices right now are insane. I don't really understand why anyone would pay that for a fucking Mystic study. I like to bring out my decks too, but this is kind of absurd. I would say that I assume these prices would go down, but I wonder if with the upper 1, 2, or 3, in this case, Study, Smother and Dive, Doubling Season, I wonder if those ones will creep up because they become chase cards. They develop a bit of price memory in a way, and they're the ones that everyone remembers are worth money in this set. Ultimately, I think this is all a good thing for Magic in terms of making cards accessible and helping the game to expand to other markets, even if the majority of the anime shit doesn't appeal to me. Not every treatment and art style has to appeal to me. I've been Vince, also PleasantKenobi. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. So ta for now. Oh, and hit the link down below for Whatnot. Get £10 of free credit. It's free real estate and it supports the channel. Bye-bye!